So I've been posting a lot about what's going on with the coronavirus, and that's really based on questions that I'm getting from clients. And I wanted to post today because there's something very important that everyone needs to know about, whether you're in the real estate business or not. The CARES Act, which essentially is trying to provide relief for this mess, they said, if you were paying attention, that people could go into forbearance without any hit to their credit, which is fantastic. If you have to decide between feeding your family and paying your mortgage, this comes in just in time. But if you're going to utilize forbearance as a minor cash flow grab, you might want to read the fine print, and here's why. 2008. The crash was all on the mortgage business. That was caused by us. Different than that, this time it's going to be the mortgage business. That will be one of the reasons why we get out of this economic downturn, because it's going to allow people to get to their liquidity in their homes and weather the storm, per se. But here's the problem. Mark Calabria, who is the president of the FHFA, for whatever reason, has put a little wrench in the program. So with the forbearance, if you don't know, it's allowing people not to pay their mortgage and then catch up later on down the road. But that money has to be somewhere, and in the perfect scenario, Mark Calabria and the FHFA, who oversees Fannie and Freddie, would say, hey, we'll hold on to those loans while they're in forbearance, and when they come out, we'll negotiate with the homeowner. Well, he hasn't done that. What he's saying is, and I don't want to get too nerdy, and I've left some links if you really want to dig deep into it, but essentially the unforeseen or the unintended consequence of this is there aren't going to be purchase loans, and there won't be refinance loans, the rate terms, or cash out, which again, that's a liquidity thing. People need to get to their cash. Why is that? Well, because he's trying to put the onus on the non-bank servicers and brokers to cover those times of forbearance, essentially to hold on to the money. Well, those entities do not have that kind of money to hold on to forbearance. If you think about 26.5 million people out of work, and a lot of those people aren't going to be able to pay their mortgage during this short downturn, that's a problem. And to go even deeper on it, and why it's not going to work is because they're going to have to charge 5 points. That's five. If you have a $200,000 loan, that's $10,000 if you wanted to purchase a refi. And if you're not a first-time home buyer, 7 points. So you can imagine that there's not a lot of people that are going to be sitting around with that kind of cash in their pocket, especially during these times. So there's a lot of people who are in the business. Mark Calabria he's an academician, he's an economist. He's never really been a mortgage professional, so he doesn't know what he's doing. I do believe cooler heads are going to prevail because there's a lot of heavy hitters that know that this is going to create even more problems for our market and for our recovery. And they're reaching out to the powers that be. They're reaching out to Calabria. The Treasury actually oversees Fannie and Freddie. They're in conservatorship. So the Treasury's not, I can't believe that they would go for this. So they're going to put some pressure on Calabria. There's people calling for him to get fired. But as far as it applies to you, you don't want this. I mean, right now, rates are inflated and credit is closing because everybody's afraid that this is actually going to come to fruition and all hell's going to break loose. I don't want to be gloom and doom, but I do think cooler heads are going to prevail. People who hold the cards will get to Calabria and say, no, this is not going to work. But what you can do is you can contact your congressman, and I've left a link for you to click on and see who your congressman, if you don't know, and also a phone number that you can call. And you're not going to get anybody, but they do record the message. And the one thing that gets things happening and moving, they get scared, they get all spun up, is if they get a lot of calls about the same subject, and then it starts the ball rolling. So we got this grassroots movement. Again, whether you're a mortgage professional or you own a home, this is important for you. It's a call to action. So again, click the link, contact the congressman, and let's stop this madness.